Well, hiring for senior executives through 2009 has been relatively quiet, this being particularly true for the first half of this year. However, things did start to improve from mid-year onwards, yet overall volumes remain low. And to get the latest updates on hiring and salaries is Paul Endacott of Ambition, a leading recruitment company. Paul, good morning. Thanks for joining us. From your company's survey, are businesses expecting a better than expected performances in this final quarter of the year?
I think definitely in the final quarter of the year there has been an improvement. Of the 400 companies we surveyed, 40% of those said their performance was better through the course of Q4, well, Q3, Q4.
So what is the outlook for 2010 then? Do you think it's more positive because we've had a pretty tough 2009?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will be a definite improvement on 2009. I think the reality is, though, most of the recruitment this year has been replacement hires. So the second half of the year has seen an improvement, but it's really been replacement hiring those positions where companies cut too deep during Q4 and Q1.
So are companies still reluctant to recruit senior talent as they continue to closely manage their overall costs?
Absolutely. I think senior talent, I think one of the drivers is the fact that most people in a secure role at a senior level haven't necessarily had the confidence to move yet anyway. But similarly, for any hires that companies are making, there needs to be there needs to be a specific reason to hire that position. It needs to be perceived as a critical hire, whether it's at a junior or a senior level.
What are the specialist jobs that are in demand now in Singapore and in Hong Kong?
Well, we focus primarily on finance, sales and marketing. So if we look at finance within financial services, there is a big demand for technical accounting and compliance type roles. Within the wider economy, it's more FP&A and business partnering, commercial roles supporting the operational business. And from a sales and marketing perspective, within marketing, PR, corporate communications, there's a lot of hiring going on within that space right now, and business development roles remain critical.
What about the industry? Which sectors do you think are seeing a strong pickup in executive recruitment?
I think we're not seeing a huge pickup in executive recruitment across any industry at this point. Most industries are beginning to hire. It's interesting that all the banks seem to be hiring now through Q4, as well as retailers picked up as well, which is very encouraging during this quarter too. But from an executive standpoint, it still does remain limited.
When do you expect the private sector to begin generating robust employment?
I suppose it depends on how we define robust. I mean, if we look at the market pre-crisis, then next year is still going to be very much about recovery. However, if we look at the market 12 months ago, then next year will be a massive improvement on this year and definitely the first 6 months of this year. So we'd anticipate that 2010 will be about recovery. There will be investment in terms of critical hires, but there won't be wholesale investment. And probably towards the end of next year in 2011 onwards, we'll begin to see things maybe returning to pre-crisis level.
Now, this is something a lot of employees will be expecting and anticipating. 2009 is a pretty tough year, so what can employees expect from bonus payouts for this year as we come to the year end?
Yeah, I think, well, from a bonus perspective, the majority of the companies we surveyed indicated they would be paying a bonus and there would be salary increments. The percentages do vary, but if we take the point of reference from January this year, most people wouldn't have expected a bonus at all, so it should be positive for most people.
But do you think salaries and bonuses will be on the increase again in 2010 as the economic conditions improve?
Absolutely. I think one of the challenges here in Asia is the talent pools are quite short. They are quite shallow, and we're already beginning to see that tighten up. So definitely, that will impact salaries. I think there'll still be, though, a level of cost constraint. So from a bonus perspective, what will they be like in 2010, 2011? We can't comment at this point.
But do you think companies are still facing budget constraints and obtaining headcount approvals when they begin to hire again?
Yeah, that's definitely two of the key issues that companies are facing. However, having said that, interestingly enough, the third most popular reason, I suppose, from the people we surveyed was actually the lack of qualified candidates available in the market. And we perceive that will become a real problem as we go through 2010.
So are we going to see an increasing popularity in the use of contracting workforce as opposed to, say, permanent staff then?
I think Asia generally hasn't taken to contracting staff as much as, say, the UK, the States or Australia. There has been a small improvement. Companies that have used contractors tend to use them again, and it does offer that flexibility. And yes, I think the small improvement has come largely because of headcount issues, and it gives a way in which a company may be able to get around the permanent headcount constraints they have within an organisation. So it will become a popular alternative, although not as popular as taken up in other countries.
All right, thank you so much, Paul, for talking to us. Paul Endacott there of Ambition, a leading recruitment company.